That was unbelievable. UConn have held on in a double overtime thriller against NC State, winning by 4 points to solidify their spot in the Final Four for a 14th straight season. I'm not gonna lie, I was planning on just making a preview for the Final Four, but after watching that incredible game between two of the best teams in the country, I just have to talk about it. That is easily one of the best NCAAW games I've ever seen. So, in today's video, I'll be breaking down everything I saw in the action between UConn and NC State. The positives, the negatives, all of the in-between. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe. For more women's basketball content like this, I'd love to reach 2,000 subscribers on this channel, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about this phenomenal Elite 8 matchup. I just have to start with Paige Bueckers. She is well and truly returned. Though she struggled quite a bit in the first quarter, going 1 for 5 from the field, as soon as she came back out in the third, she looked identical to freshman Paige. Finishing the game with 27 points on 10 for 15 shooting is ridiculous in a game of this magnitude. And what makes it even crazier is 23 of those points came in the fourth quarter and overtime alone. Simply insane. She only missed one shot in overtime too. I think she finished like 8 for 9 from the field in OT. Add into that her brilliant clutch free throw shooting, not missing a single attempt down the stretch. She really did help save UConn from an early exit. UConn were just 1 for 8 on free throw attempts through 3 quarters. On their next 12 attempts to close out the game. It's ridiculously impressive stuff. There was a quote from Paige from a press conference where she said that she doesn't like or love the game of basketball, she lives it. And when Paige took over in that fourth quarter and overtime, it really looked like she was at home because she lives for these moments, she's built for them. We've heard all the talk about Paige a million times since she joined UConn, how special of a player she is, how transcendent of a talent she is becoming. And today, she supported those claims to the fullest. It was, as Kevin Durant has put it, a spiritual experience. She was poised with the ball in hand, getting to her spots in the mid-range, and tearing apart the NC State defense. It was bucket for bucket all overtime long between the two teams, and Paige really upped the pressure on NC State's offense to match what UConn was doing. I won't go on for much longer here about Paige, there's so much more we need to cover about this game. But for the first time since returning from injury, Paige Bueckers is starting to look like the National Player of the Year type Bueckers once again. Her impact on this game was otherworldly. Aaliyah Edwards and Olivia Nelson-Ododa stepped up immensely after Dorcas suffered a wrist injury, who I'm wishing a speedy recovery for. Though both of these girls were in foul trouble, they didn't back down and continued to play tough, physical basketball, helping UConn maintain an advantage on the rebounds, particularly the offensive glass. Evina Westbrook was great as well as she took up some of Dorcas' minutes, being a great leader for the Huskies and playing a big factor as they closed out the game. Azzi Fudd was elite, her creation with the ball in hand was probably the best I've ever seen it this season, and though the box score may not prove it efficiency-wise through this tournament, she's been one of the better scorers and overall creators for UConn out there this tournament, and that continued in today's game. Nika Muhl, though she only played 8 minutes for some reason, was brilliant in her short stint on the floor, coming up with a steal, a dime to Christyn Williams on the fast break, and a super tough layup inside, which only Nika Muhl would be able to score on. Her defense though was immaculate, overall shutting down NC State's guards very well. Her impact, as I've said many times on this channel before, deserves a lot more appreciation. Finally, I'll give a nod to Christyn Williams, as she truly helped UConn's offense keep rolling over, especially in that first half. She was patient with the ball in hand, winding through the defense to find herself a good look. She moved the ball well too, not settling for a contested look, always looking for the extra pass. But when she had the opportunity to attack, she did, always hunting the rim on an open lane or using her footwork to get free in the mid-range. There were countless times where Williams jab stepped into a pull-up jumper. Her quick movements really threw the NC State defense off at times, and it's why she was able to finish the match with 21 points. Williams has been in an attacking mindset all March long, and as a result, she's become a reliable weapon for the Huskies to go to on offense. Obviously though, UConn were thoroughly challenged in this match by NC State, and a whole lot of love should be given to them, because as great as UConn responded and fought, the Wolfpack did the same thing. NC State's offense was superb tonight. I really couldn't find any flaws with them and what they were trying to achieve while watching. Obviously, their three-point shooting in the first half wasn't good, but they were consistently getting good looks, and eventually they started to fall, as we found out in the second half and overtime. NC State ran a whole lot of screens throughout the match, particularly off-ball screens, and that forced UConn to switch a lot. All those screens threw the Huskies' defense off and into turmoil. They really struggled to rotate and stay man-to-man in those situations. Often, it resulted in wide-open players on the weak side of the court for NC State, and while the Wolfpack didn't find these open players as often as you'd hope, as you can see in these clips here, they did also often punish UConn for the poor rotations. If UConn were going to lose this game, I definitely would have pointed to their poor defense and rotations as the main reason why. Their poor communication really hurt them in a lot of ways, and I think their inability to manage all the screens could have lost them this match. In fact, it's why this game went to double overtime. Paige got caught on a screen and wasn't able to rotate back to her player fast enough, which led to the wide open corner 3 at the buzzer. As much as it sucks for NC State to lose this game, they really didn't do a whole lot wrong and should hold their heads high. They fought back from a double-digit deficit and did not quit. Unfortunately, they couldn't come away with the spoils, but boy, were they really close to doing so. As for some players on this team that I thought played really well, Cunane was one of them. She was dominant on the low block and forced UConn's bigs into foul trouble and was really strong under the basket, looking like Aaliyah Boston out there at times because some of the shots she managed to score was so heavily contested. Brown Turner stepped up, particularly in that second half, as her spacing threat helped open up some lanes for NC State as they looked to keep attacking the basket. Jones and Crutchfield were both clutch as well, and Boyd's impact off the bench was vital to keeping UConn on their toes, even if someone like Brown Turner or Jones or Crutchfield was having a rest. Like UConn, everyone on this team stepped up in some way and played a hell of a game, making this one of the greatest college basketball games I've ever seen. Overall for NC State, they made sure UConn wouldn't run away with this one, even though the Huskies seemed so dominant in that first half, so you really have to give them a lot of credit. But that's all I really want to cover from this game today. I'm still kind of speechless about the game. It was incredible, so I have so many thoughts running through my mind right now that I may have left some key things out here in my analysis. But I just really wanted to emphasize the impact of UConn's squad, even under the adversity of Dorcas' injury, how Paige Bueckers took over, and how NC State's offense almost won them this game. Let me know all your thoughts on this game down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your breakdown of this match, and also be sure to drop your predictions for the Final Four as well. Who do you have winning? Louisville or South Carolina, and UConn or Stanford? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Lucas.